just joined us on the System After Dark, this is a homegrown number courtesy of E3 and Cracker.
Bulla, how's it going? I'm D, your host on the System After Dark, right here on Today FM. Today's hit music. You can catch me weeknights at 7 p.m. That's from Monday to Friday, only on the home of Today's hit music. And don't forget, that's D with you every weeknight on the System After Dark.
Even got that homebrew flowing.
Good evening, this is FBC News. I'm Jackie Spade. Tonight, customs manager and businessman charged for alleged bribery. Tax collected to go after dishonest businesses. And 2016 expected to be a bumper year for tourism. The Fiji Revenue and Customs Authority is going to clamp down on businesses which deliberately hide revenue. Less than a month away from the 2016 budget, FIRCA Chief Executive Chitoko Tikolevu has revealed that they are now going after businesses which treat taxes as a matter of choice.
The Fiji Revenue and Customs boss Chitoko Tikolevu is scathing about non-compliance from certain businesses. He's listed a number of infringements that FIRCA has discovered. Some businesses fail to declare millions of dollars in earnings which are deposited in various bank accounts. Tikolevu has also hit out at big accounting firms claiming 100% tax deductions on Fiji National Provident Fund payments when the law allows 50%. This is being done on behalf of business clients. Another problem for FIRCA is importers under-declaring the value of products or wrongly classifying items to cheat payment of duties. Investigations have found that items such as alcohol, spirits, fixed on volume rather than value, are being labeled as wine to defraud the government of duty tax. Tikolevu says there is a culture of dishonesty that prevails in payment of taxes, and businesses are no longer able to justify their assets' betterment and wealth against tax payment history. FIRCA has warned that taxpayers' mindset must change before they take harsher actions against tax and duty defrauders. It's indicated that people may even face jail time, saying in Western countries, businessmen and women do go to jail for simply failing to file tax returns on time.
A former National Border Control Manager with the Fiji Revenue and Customs Authority, an Afghanistan businessman, appeared in the Suva Magistrates Court today, charged with bribery offences. Josefa Marawa and Abdul Shakib were served with the first phase of disclosure today. The court heard that in April this year, Shakib, who is the director of a second-hand car dealership in Nasinu, allegedly offered the gift of a Toyota vehicle to Marawa, who is a public servant. Marawa allegedly accepted the vehicle from Shahib. Then on July 19th, Shahib allegedly offered a $4,000 loan to Marawa, which he is alleged to have accepted. Both the accused have been granted bail but must surrender their passports to the court. The case will be recalled on the 30th of November. 2015 is expected to be a bumper year for tourism, with visitor arrivals up to September 12% higher than the same period last year. Tourism Minister Fayaz Koya says at this rate, Fiji is on track to surpassing 714,000 visitors by the end of this year.
Delegates at the Tourism Industry Day have been told that the strong performance last year has got those in the business looking to the future with great optimism.
2014 has been the best year in Fijian history, with a peak in visitor arrivals at 692,630, which was a 5.3% increase from 2013. Earnings increased by 6.6% to $1.4 billion.
Good fortunes have spilled over into 2015. Koya says it can only get better from here on.
Furthermore, earnings for the first half of the year have increased by 12.3%, or $688.5 million compared to the same period last year. At this rate, Fiji is on track to easily achieve or surpass the target of 714,000 odd visitors and mark 2015 as the most successful year yet for our tourism sector.
However, the minister told the 340 stakeholders at the Tourism Fiji Industry Day the sector can't be complacent.
We have to do a lot more to achieve the overall national vision that we have set for the Fijian tourism industry, to be a $2 billion industry that and that to be achieved by setting high standards and quality of services that we provide.
The Industry Day is a platform where Tourism Fiji and stakeholders come together to familiarize themselves with the government's plans of making it a $2 billion sector by the year 2020. Madhyum Boletamana, FBC News.
The International Labour Organization Fiji office has revealed that only one union signed the joint report which was submitted to the ILO headquarters in Geneva, Switzerland. ILO officer in charge in Fiji, Satoshi Sasaki, says the report will be discussed at the November meeting of the governing body.
The joint report was signed by extended members of the government, employers, as well as one union, the Fiji Electricity Authority Workers Association. The Fiji Islands Council of Trade Unions did not sign the report, and General Secretary Attar Singh says they're disappointed with discussions at the Employment Relations Advisory Board, which did not address their concerns.
We've decided that the proposed agreement that was prepared for presentation to ILO, that we are unable to sign that, and as a result the matter will now go to ILO without our signature. The next step, of course, will be that we'll leave it to the ILO to decide what should be the next course of action.
Fiji Trades Union Congress, on the other hand, did not attend ERAB meetings at all, which met for 3 consecutive days prior to the deadline. ILO's Sasaki says the governing body meeting in Geneva next month will decide on Fiji's situation based on the information provided. Recently appointed Employment Minister Semi Korleva-Sao says he will continue to hold discussions with the unions in the hope to make some headway in the impasse before the ILO's governing body meets on the 11th of November. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
Police are investigating the death of a 23-year-old man in a road accident in Ba. The victim, believed to be an FSC employee, was driving a truck carting pine logs when the binding chain holding the logs broke, causing them to fall off the truck. The driver apparently jumped from the truck and was killed instantly by the falling logs. It was later discovered that the victim didn't have a license to drive a heavy goods vehicle. Police spokesperson Ananai Soro says the company has a certain responsibility to ensure their employees have the right documents.
We're also looking into that aspect as to whether or not they had prior knowledge of the fact that he did not have the prescribed driver's license, because that, of course, is a concern. If you don't have the prescribed license, then you shouldn't be handling a certain vehicle.
After the break, termite infestation still a high risk.
With one heartbeat. We'll take a short break and join us in the next hour for more music from Seal. Bulablaga. I'm DJ Tora. Join me every weekdays, 7 until midnight on the Premium Classics, right here on Gold FM. Only the classic hits.
People living in termite-infested areas of Lautoka and Lambasa have been advised to take heed of the emergency declaration made to control the infestation. This is the termite swarming season, when the pests grow wings and spread for other areas. Ritika Pratap reports.
Out of 900 houses infested with termites, more than 400 have been treated.
There has been surveillance work also in North, basically in the infested areas. So there is a team basically who's responsible for the whole treatment and surveillance. And to the ground, we have recruited more people basically who are actually working in the area of termites.
Infested areas in Lautoka include Tomuka, Kashmir, Hill 40, Naikambula, Saru and parts of Wayave. Xavier Riaz Khan says surveillance continues and the emergency declaration bans the movement of plant products, furniture, timber or any household item infested with termites.
Recently we have also just procured a new device for detecting termites which works on thermal energy. So that's a handheld device will be tested out in fields for plants, for household.
BEF has $400,000 for termite eradication. Houses which have been infested are treated free of charge.
The termites have done a lot of damage, not only to our houses, but to our crops as well. At times when we go and harvest cassava, we have nothing left because it has all been eaten by termites, and this has really affected us.
People in the vicinity of termite-affected areas are urged to close windows and doors from 5:30 p.m. until 8 p.m. and light small fires to attract termites. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
Yesterday, we carried a report showing a young boy apparently bound to a pole, his hands tied, as punishment for some family offence. Today, police report they have 2 sworn statements regarding the matter, and an investigation is underway. The Director of Economic Governance at the Pacific Islands Forum Secretariat says competition for trade will be one of the effects of the Trans-Pacific Partnership, one of the biggest free trade agreements to date. Maggie Boyle reports.
The Trans-Pacific Partnership is one of the most ambitious free trade agreements ever signed. Agreed to earlier this month, the TPP covers 12 countries with a population of 800 million, double the EU's market, and responsible for 40% of world trade. But what does this mean for Fiji and the region?
You will basically see intensified trade between Northern America, Latin America, and then Asia, Australia, and New Zealand. When in fact Pacific will find itself in the middle of it. So obviously it presents lots of opportunities, but also it presents a number of challenges that the Pacific Island countries will really have to work towards addressing.
Raj explains that the TPP was born out of a failed agreement which pushed like-minded economies to nonetheless capitalize. It's a scenario the Pacific would do well to learn from.
In terms of making sure that we are not going to become permanent victims of preference erosion in technical terms. What it actually means is that some of our major trading partners are going ahead and providing better preferences to other economies, and as a consequence, our products into those markets is going to be faced with stiffer competition.
And with the forum leaders agreeing to conclude the PACER Plus negotiations by 2016, the focus now is ensuring countries are able to reap the benefits.
Looking into how the private sector should be developed is going to be the core subject of the discussions. And these various ministerial groupings are going to look into very specific aspects of engagement so that more broadly the Pacific Island countries are really able to organize their capacity to effectively benefit from these agreements.
The TPP members are the US, Japan, Malaysia, Vietnam, Singapore, Brunei, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, Mexico, Chile and Peru. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
Life can present some terrifying trials, but if you have courage, you can see them through because your attitude towards crisis is crucial. Here's one such story about overcoming obstacles. Breast cancer survivor Marianne Wong-Lee describes herself as someone who doesn't let bad news get her down. A wife of more than 30 years, a mother of 6 and grandmother to 12, she tells of the shock of being diagnosed with cancer in 2004.
The doctor had said some words like, "We have a problem." So that phrase stuck in my head. So on my way home it was, breast cancer, breast cancer, breast cancer. So when I came back in Jan 2004, he told me, give us the diagnosis.
She was immediately admitted for treatment, and her husband had to break the news to their children, who were the first to support her. At the fit age of 47, she underwent chemotherapy for 6 months.
First few cycles was okay. I did not get any side effects or didn't get any sick or anything. But later on, it was just the nausea. My hair didn't fall, so that was a good part. But I had cut my hair short just in case it did.
The treatment was successful, and Marianne's now cancer-free, working closely with the Fiji Cancer Society and sharing her story.
I would urge all women around the country, young or old, to come forward and see your doctors, get yourselves checked, get yourselves examined, and don't be afraid to come in.
Marianne is familiar with the tragedy of cancer. She lost her sister-in-law to breast cancer in September 2000 and then her mother in November of the same year. But even after her own crisis, she encourages everyone to take a bright attitude towards life and not succumb to the depression of bad situations. And in sports now, here's Jamie with the latest.
Good Jackie, and good evening. After the break, we hear from Coach Frank Farina ahead of his first assignment as national football coach. And John McKee plans to pilot the Flying Fijians to the highest levels of World Rugby. This and more coming up.
छू छू 40 में 20 का दिखना है। मैं हूँ ना आपके साथ में मिर्ची एफएम पर 9 से 12 बजे तक मंडे टू फ्राइडे। मिर्ची इट्स हॉट। The Vodafone Fiji football side marched into camp last Sunday and has already taken preparations to another level with new coach Frank Farina. Our sports reporter Josephine Navula joins us live now from FBC's Nandi studio with the latest.
Thank you, Jamie. Yes, the national football side held their first training session today. With the guidance of Frank Farina, the team now prepares for 2 friendly international matches against Vanuatu next month. We caught up with Australian on his plans for the team.
The national football team has been doing the hard yards under the leadership of Frank Farina.
It's a bit difficult because straight after the IDC, some were celebrating, some were commiserating, so they've had a week off. We let them go home for a week. So it's just really getting them started again and trying to keep them ticking along until we go.
Changes will be made to the training structure for strong outing in Vanuatu next month.
We're going to start with a new style, a new structure of play, a new system. So it'll give us and myself an opportunity to see how the players will react playing in a 4-3-3, if you like, because it'll be different for them than what they're used to.
Farina says the upcoming international matches will show what the players are capable of.
It's always better to get more than one game because it is an expensive exercise. So we've got 2 games which we're allowed to play in.
The team flies out on the 6th of next month for 2 matches. Josephine Navula, FBC Sports.
Meanwhile, the National Football Club Championship scheduled to start this weekend has been deferred to next month. With the national team moving into camp and the Pacific Cup also being held next month, it was decided the divisional playoffs be held on the 28th and 29th of November.
Most of the players involved in National Club Championship teams in national team camp, so we thought this might affect team's preparation, etc. And on the other hand, 4 of our teams, Rewa, Nandi, Suva and Lautoka will be preparing for Pacific Cup in New Zealand.
The NCC finals will be played from the 4th to the 6th of December. Vodafone Flying Fijians coach John McKee wants to take Fijian rugby to a level where it can challenge Tier 1 ranked teams on any given day. Despite losing to big guns Wales, England and Australia at the World Cup, the Fiji side put on gallant performances with some of the closest score margins in recent times against Tier 1 teams. McKee says in the remainder of his tenure with Fiji rugby, he'd love to see the Flying Fijians win matches against the big teams.
When we go to the big stage or we go to a November tour or if a big country comes down and tours here, that we're seen as equals on the field. Like, Fiji play England, and who's going to win? We don't know who's going to win till the final whistle. They don't have points in the draw because they're a Tier 1 nation. We've raised our game to the level that we can challenge anyone.
Meanwhile, in a statement today, World Rugby has said that South African referee Craig Joubert was wrong to award a crucial 78-minute penalty against Scotland in yesterday's World Cup quarter-final defeat by Australia. Scotland led 34-32 at Twickenham when John Welch was ruled deliberately offside for playing the ball after a knock-on by a teammate. The governing body said that because Australia's Nick Phipps touched the ball, the appropriate decision should have been a scrum to Australia for the original knock-on. Scotland went on to lose 35-34 after Bernard Foley kicked the penalty. Meanwhile, in the semi-finals, South Africa play New Zealand at 3 a.m. on Sunday, while at 4 a.m. on Monday, Australia takes on Argentina. And you can watch both these games live on FBC TV. In the English Premier League today, Stoke City secured a 1-0 win against Swansea City. A penalty strike in the early stage of the match was enough to secure Stoke the crucial 3 points. Meanwhile, Manchester City still leads the points table with 21 points after 9 rounds. That's it from Sports Tonight. Good evening.
German government has given about 30 million Fijian dollars for the forestry sector. This was revealed by Minister for Forestry Osea Naingamu as today marked 30 years of Fiji-Germany partnership at the Suva Botanical Garden, also known as Thurston Gardens. Ali Kimbia has more.
The celebration of the bilateral partnership between Fiji and Germany in the forestry sector focuses on sustainable forest management.
This unusually long project period was partly attributed to the strong commitment of the Fijian partners to forge ahead with sustainable forest management, SFM, and sustainable land use management.
Minister for Forestry Osea Naingamu says the partnership has enabled them to improve their approach to protect forests and its ecosystem.
This cooperation with the German government greatly benefited Fiji Forestry Department, where we had experts in sustainable forest management come into Fiji. Through this project and assist our foresters in developing the skills and background knowledge on how to sustainably manage our forests.
With the Fiji-Germany cooperation spanning over more than 2 decades, it has prompted other Pacific Island countries to request for support in the application of sustainable forest management. Ali Kimbia, FBC News.
HFC Bank has recorded a net profit of $6.05 million for the financial year ending June 2015, its first complete year as a fully fledged bank. HFC transitioned into the banking business in March 2014. The bank's profit is up by 32% compared to the last financial year. The bank paid $2.7 million to the Fiji National Provident Fund and just over $900,000 to the Unit Trust of Fiji as dividend. Generally, fine conditions prevailed over Fiji today. A trough of low pressure lies slow-moving over northern Cooks and extends southeastwards over French Polynesia. Meanwhile, a broad easterly wind flow prevails over most southwest Pacific Island countries. In temperatures, it was a hot day across Fiji. Most centres had temperatures in the 30s. The sunny weather will remain tomorrow, apart from a chance of afternoon showers in Suva and Savu-Savu. And for Thursday, a few showers over the eastern parts and interior of the larger islands, afternoon or evening showers elsewhere. Easterly winds 15 to 20 knots, moderate to rough seas. And recapping the main stories tonight. FICAC charges a former customs manager and a Sinu businessman with bribery-related charges. Fiji Revenue and Customs Authority to go after dishonest businessman, and tourism industry records a bumper year. Now to our poll segment. This week we are asking, should the South African diplomat allegedly involved in a fatal accident return to Fiji to face charges? Visit our FBC website to have your say. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page, FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. You can also find us on YouTube, FBC TV 2011. You've been watching FBC News. I'm Jackie Spade. Bye for now.